All right, so first off, I want to say all praise to Yahweh, in the name of his son, Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. All right, double honors to my elders, apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone, otherwise known as GMS for short, but also known as the prophets of doom. These are where I have learned this truth and where I am still learning this truth. And also I want to say shalom to the remnant and the elect of Israel. Lord willing, I am of that number. Okay, so right on the heels of the previous video speaking about this MotB or Mark of the Beast. Okay, what I next asked Google AI is, could you touch on money becoming programmable, further pushing people into being dependent on the powers that be? Okay, so let's go ahead and get the reply. All right, it reads: a transition from passive money to programmable money in 2026 marks a fundamental shift where currency is no longer just a neutral medium of exchange, but a piece of code that can enforce its own terms. In the context of your scenario, this development effectively moves trust from human institutions into the digital architecture itself, creating several new mechanisms of dependency. Number one, from property rights to permissioned access. It says the most significant impact of programmable money, particularly through central bank digital currencies or CBDCs, is the potential erosion of absolute ownership. Okay, a few bullet points under this. First one is permissioned spending. It says, unlike physical cash, which is a bearer instrument that can be spent freely, programmable digital money can be turned into a permissioned privilege. All right, keep all this in mind. All right, and imagine, can this world go to this? All right, indeed it can, and it will. Okay. Second bullet point says conditional use. Rules can be embedded directly into the digital unit of value, allowing the issuing of authority to approve or deny transactions in real time based on preset criteria. Turning your money into a weapon. I mean, it already is weaponized, but yeah, even more so when this happens. Third bullet point, expiration dates. It says programmable money can be designed to expire if not spent within a certain time frame, forcing economic activity and preventing long-term private saving outside the system. That's why it tells you here, okay? In Revelation 13, verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark. A lot of people, when they hear this, right, when they start to understand that we are telling the truth, still they don't come up out of the darkness, all right? Your only way through this stuff is with Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. So it's not going to be this, okay, I understand what the Lord is saying, but I'm going to still make my own way. All right. Esau Edom is not going to make this easy on you. We are all about to find out why he is called the one who comes to do the workings of the devil and Satan. All right. We're really all going to figure this out. I mean, you already have worldly examples. All right. What's going on with this Epstein thing? Okay. Or the E-list. All right. So we're all going to find out, man. If you think 2020, and you can look at that for an example, right? 2020, the year 2020. What happened there? All right. How was that solution pushed? Okay. If you ask me, it was pushed pretty hard. All right. But this is going to be, when this micro chip gets pushed, all right, this is going to be 2020 on steroids, man. Okay? And they're going to make threats this time that are not going to be empty threats. Okay? If you choose to not take this thing, so they tell you you're going to starve, they mean it. All right? They do not care. All right? They already want to cull, all right, a large part of the population anyway. Okay? So, second bullet point, conditional use. It says rules can be embedded directly into the digital unit of value, allowing the issuing authority to approve or deny transactions in real time based on preset criteria. I guess I just read that. All right, third bullet point, expiration dates. It says programmable money can be designed to expire if not spent within a certain time frame, forcing economic activity and preventing long-term private saving outside of the system. All right, maybe I did read all that, did I? I don't know if I did. Hey, there it is the second time. So going on to the second section, it says enforcing behavioral and social compliance. All right, so if they enforce compliance, how is this going to be a voluntary thing? All right, it's going to be made mandatory. Right now, it's in its voluntary stage. Okay. It says programmability allows the powers that be to automate governance and social engineering directly through your wallet. 3 bullet points under this, real-time penalties. It says if a user violates a policy, such as exceeding a carbon footprint, and it's funny that they went straight to that. We haven't even talked about that in this session. Anyway, again, it says if a user violates a policy, such as exceeding a carbon footprint or failing to meet a mandate, wow, 2020 should pop up in your head now. Now, if you refuse that thing and it's in the time of a micro C-hip implant, man, what you think is going to happen? Whatever you got, whatever numbers you got on that C-hip are going to go straight to 0, man. All right, or maybe they'll take away half. I don't know. But they'll have the power to do so. Okay. It says the wallet can automatically deduct fines or block specific categories of purchases, such as fuel or travel. All right, they got this thing sewn up, man. All right. The wicked has the world. All right. But the Lord's going to come and set this place back right side up. Yahweh Valshem Yahushua is going to come and put this place back in order. All right, Esau is going to be taken out. So second bullet point says social credit integration. It says this technology enables a financial social credit system where access to funds is tied to political or social behavior, potentially locking out dissenters for specific periods or specified periods. The last bullet point says geographic restrictions. It says funds can be programmed to only be valid within a specific geographic location, further limiting individual mobility and autonomy. Man. Number 3, the third section, it says the financial, what is that? Financial panopticon, and total oversight. Before we go, let me see what this is. What is a panopticon? All right, let's see. A panopticon is a circular prism designed excuse me, a opticon is a circular prison design featuring a central inspection tower, allowing a few guards to observe many inmates without being seen. All right, yeah, that's what this is. That's what this is going to be. All right, the financial panopticon and total oversight. It says programmable money creates a proactive rather than a reactive surveillance state. Again, with this, there's 3 bullet points. Is there 3 bullet points with everything? Nah. All right. 3 bullet points with this. It says atomic audit trials or trails. Yeah, atomic audit trails. It says every transaction becomes its own audit trail, verifying the identity of both parties and the regulatory threshold before the payment is even executed. All right, so they know everything you're buying and selling. There ain't going to be any side jobs or side ways that you can get into their society again, the buying and selling of things. Okay, what was I going to ask here? Hold on, I was going to ask, what is a regulatory threshold? Let's see. Is that how much you are able to spend? Let me see. What is a regulatory threshold? Let's see. A regulatory threshold is a legally defined quantitative limit, standard, or value established by authorities that, when exceeded, triggers mandatory compliance actions, reporting requirements, or prohibitions. These thresholds act as boundaries for acceptable activity, such as pollutant levels, safety risks, or corporate asset sizes. Key aspects of a regulatory threshold. Purpose, it says they ensure compliance, manage environmental or financial risks, and determine when an entity must abide by more stringent regulations. All right, and they're going to be the ones who come up with these rules, man. The thing is, even without these rules in place, can you trust them with the rules that are in place? No, you can't. As a matter of fact, this little fun fact was brought up at camp today. Okay, how many treaties or let me see, what else would you call it? Oops, hold on. Or agreements has the U.S. been involved in with other countries that America has honored? We'll do it that way. The United States has entered into more than 18,000 treaties and international agreements since 1776. Though many have been modified or broken over time, while the U.S. frequently honors major international treaties, it has a history of failing to fulfill hundreds of treaties, particularly those with Native American nations, too, man. All right. So I can't think of this other word that we looked up earlier. All right, the key things that you can't trust these people, man. Okay. The things that they honor, all right, are only things that put them up, high up above, high up above you. That are basically one-sided, all right, in their favor. They'll stick to those. Anything else, man, you just can't trust them. All right. So second bullet point under financial panopticon, it says direct central bank access. It says with a retail CBDC, the central bank can have a back door into every account, allowing them to instantly freeze or subtract funds without going through a commercial bank intermediary. Man. Third bullet point, negative interest rates. Central banks could directly enforce negative interest rates on all citizens simultaneously, effectively taxing accounts to manipulate the broader economy at will. All right, which means that they could target certain communities if they wanted to. Okay? But they don't even care about their own. All right? I don't even care about their own people. They really, all right, are out to get the Lord's chosen, man. They want their hands on the elect and the remnant. So the fourth section, it says institutional consolidation of power. It says as of late March 2026, major global banks and organizations like the BIS and IMF are openly discussing how this technology can precisely target what people can own and do. Only a couple bullet points under this one, all right? First one is automated compliance. It says by embedding compliance directly into the transaction layer, institutions reduce their own manual risk while increasing their granular control over the entire population's financial lives. Second bullet point talks about this Genius Act. It says the Genius Act and tokenization. It reads new legislative frameworks in 2026 are facilitating the tokenization of all real world assets, real estate, bonds, and even carbon credits, bringing them into this same programmable, controllable digital ecosystem. Okay. So before we go, let's read a few scriptures that also came up in camp today, man. All right, you see, we trust the Lord first and foremost. All right, we trust the Lord even above ourselves. Okay. So what we're going to do is go here to Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 12 and get a few verses from here. All right. Of course, we'll start with 10, verse 10. All right, Ecclesiasticus 12 and verse 10. Hold on. I went to the wrong chapter. Hold on. Okay, we're in the right spot now. Ecclesiasticus chapter 12 and verse 10. Never trust thine enemy. All right, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So let's do something really quick here. So I put summarize in simple terms what this verse means. Sirach chapter 12 and verse 10. So let's see. Sirach 12 and 10 says, is a practical warning about human nature, advising that a person who has shown themselves to be an enemy should never be fully trusted or at all, okay? Regardless of a change in behavior. Here is a simple summary of what it means. Wickedness lasts. It says the verse uses the analogy of iron that rusts. Even if you clean it, the metal is still prone to rusting again. Similarly, someone with a malicious, untrustworthy character rarely changes completely, and their true nature will eventually resurface. We have this saying, or something I've been saying a lot recently, is people can't wait to be who they are. All right, people can never wait to be who they truly are. All right, second bullet point under this is don't be fooled by fake nice, which nice means stupid anyway. All right, it says it warns to be on guard even if an enemy acts humble, crouches, all right, which means, acts harmless, or is nice to you suddenly. Their sweet talk is often just a mask. Okay. Third bullet point is the lesson. It says, do not let your guard down or trust them with sensitive information or power, because they are just waiting for an opportunity to turn against you. In short, if someone has proven they are malicious, don't believe they have completely changed just because they are acting kind right now. And you'll see more of this chapter, all right, Ecclesiastes chapter 12, all right, pointing exactly to that fact. So again, verse 10 read, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Now I'm going to jump down to 16 and 17, all right. It says, an enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, and though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. I'm going to get those three verses again in the Good News translation. Give me a second. All right, so Ecclesiastes or Sirach, chapter 12. I'm going to read verses 10, 16, and 17. Okay, so it reads, my child, oops, it's the wrong one, hold on. Okay, so verse 10, and again, this is the Good News translation. Verse 10 says, never trust an enemy. His wickedness is as destructive as rust. Jumping down to 15 and 16, it reads, or 16 and 17, it reads, he will speak fine words while he plots how to trap you. He will pretend to share your sorrows, but he will kill you if he gets a chance. If trouble comes your way, you will find him waiting, ready to trip you up while he pretends to help you. All right, let me get verse 18 too while we're here. He will be a different person then, rubbing his hands, nodding his head, and spreading rumors about you. All right. So he'll change up. He'll turn from fake nice to whom he really is. All right. So let me go back here and look at this again. All right. Yeah, so we'll leave it there for now. All right. Lord willing, we'll come back with at least one more video. Might be 2 or 3 more, I don't know. But we'll come back to this subject, Lord willing. All right. If this window is still open next time we talk. All right. But we hope this came through as sincere and edifying. All right. And with that, I'd like to say all praise to Yahweh, in the name of His Son, Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. All right. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone, otherwise known as GMS for short, but also known as the Prophets of Doom. These are where I have learned this truth and where I am still learning this truth. And also I want to say shalom to the remnant and the elect of Israel. Lord willing, I am of that number. And Lord willing, we'll see you in the next video. Shalom.